lives.
Yep.
I mean, everybody wants to come here, but you don't see this in Denmark. You don't see this in Finland. You see it in America because of the way we do things. And from cell phones to, you got to understand how our bullying now. We have cyberbullying. We have 10-year-olds committing suicide. We have parents who want to, not my junior, he wouldn't do that. And I know this because I work at juvie, so I'm sitting here and
with a lot of kids who wouldn't do that.
Yeah, who wouldn't do that, and they're and that you give them these special names like Victorious. No, he is a loser. He's been here 6 or 7 times, and so I'm sorry. No, we keep creating these people who are now, and yes, you have tuck and roll drills, and you have to, do you know they said no, we have all this tuck and roll and all this different drills, but there's no classes for no more sexual classes. They can't have those because the Christians say no, we don't want our kids to have more sex. We want them to know about sex. Can't teach that. So we have a chlamydia outbreak now that's going on to add on to the point that you will also get shot and you will have chlamydia in your school. So
Great.
yeah, everything is just coming. I mean, they've taken away everything, and my point is that everything's supposed to make our lives convenient, and it has not. God, that convenience has cost us. We would have never thought that someone would have an AR-15. What does a man in the suburbs needs with an assault rifle? How does this happen? Why do you need that? Oh, protection. What kind? Who's coming? I always know you don't live in the hood.
The black people.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
They're coming.
Well,
That's
we're
what
giving
black
you a
people
wall.
are coming.
Wait,
See,
you
but
get
I'm
a
rolling
wall.
my eyes.
Black
You
people
ask-
are
rolling
coming.
my eyes.
Yeah,
FYI.
no, that's what it is. No,
Is that
exactly.
who's coming? The
The
black, hell, I'm
black
scared
people
of them too.
The black people are coming.
Yeah, I'm scared of black
Yeah.
people too. I don't know.
Well,
what people,
and if you don't believe that this is the thinking that goes on behind this, it absolutely is. The most recent shooting last week at a high school in Maryland.
Yeah.
Girl breaks up with guy gets disgruntled, comes in school, shoots the girl, shoots another kid who's standing there, gets shot by the school resource officer. That was the lead story on the news when I woke up that morning. The next story was about a shooting in Inglewood, which is, as you know, here in LA they call it Inglehood. It is the hood, and my brain immediately went to, there's a shooting at a school, and we're going to start hearing more from the idiots who want to arm the teachers. Why aren't they saying anything about arming everyone in Inglewood?
Right.
It just, it seems logical. If you believe that we should be arming the teachers to stop the shootings in our schools, why shouldn't we be arming all of the good citizens?
Have you seen a high school
in Inglewood?
Have you ever been to a high school lately?
Not
No.
since I was
No.
in high school.
No.
Go by one. Go by and look at a high school today. It is a prison.
Yeah, they are. Like
And-
Kennedy.
Yeah,
Kennedy
it is a
High School.
prison.
But hasn't it always been? I mean,
No, I mean,
It just felt like it.
No,
Yeah,
I
I was
mean,
gonna say,
we had monitors. I had a guy with a walkie. These guys are fully loaded with machine guns.
who's these guys though?
The cops? I mean,
They have cops at the
Outside.
schools.
The schools.
Well, I mean, at some
Yeah.
schools you need that. I would say,
is
depending
that
on the
where we
neighborhood.
Are we where? I mean, I went to high school. I mean, we and hell, we had some pretty tough people, but. Wow, you got to have a guy with a machine gun?
In certain parts of LA, it doesn't surprise me that you would need that.
And
gangs.
I mean, I don't think you need it, but I think
Machine
it's,
gun, no, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you need it.
It's
I
overkill.
think it's a total overkill. But it's
What's next? Bowie knives? I might as well just give me a machete. If that's what I mean.
that's nothing compared to a machine
Machine
gun.
gun.
And
I mean,
I figured you would have gone for a flamethrower.
I would.
'Cause
I've always felt
set
that,
motherfuckers on
I
fire.
believe that all bullies should be burned. That's how I made it through the ghetto. I set many of them on fire. I'm sorry I burned their dog too because they're sick. Their
all right,
dog.
I don't want
on
to hear
me.
that.
Well,
Okay,
he's sick.
yeah.
The dog
Okay,
on me.
all right, I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, he wanted to bite me.
Can't.
Yeah, and
I can't.
I
Yeah.
didn't want to do that.
All right, please
They were
stop
taking-
talking right now. I can hear horrific things that happen to people, but I cannot hear horrific things that happen to animals.
No, I agree. And they're so innocent. They don't know better.
No.
Second time.
Stop it.
Well, okay, so back to shooting children. Happier topics. So we're talking about this school district in Pennsylvania where they want to put a bucket of rocks in every
Back
class.
here.
Yeah, well, I think it is probably the sanest solution. I think it's a great middle ground, and when I initially read the headline, I thought they were going to give each student a bucket of rocks. And I thought maybe that's a little extreme, but, great way for, a lot of teenage boys to get some exercise with the other arm for a change, carrying a bucket of rocks. But when I then learned, oh, no, it's one bucket per classroom.
But
Look, you don't want to have a Lord of the Flies situation.
You're not dealing with the issue. You're not dealing with the psychological issue which is causing all of this. That's kid
right.
who did all of this, was probably bullied. He was, he was also ADD or whatever the heck he had. He had all
Everybody's
kinds,
ADD. There's not a kid in those schools who isn't.
I mean, he had all kinds of issues. And I'm sorry, the most evil institution ever created, grade school. Sorry, there are people who are adults today who are still dealing with the problems of grade school.
So true. I have a friend who dealt with a really mean girl in middle school who I guess told her she wasn't pretty, told her she was dumb, all this stuff. To this day, she has this sense of inferiority where she's like, well, I can't try that. I'm dumb. Oh, well, you're way prettier. And it's been 20 freaking years or something.
Yeah. But why? That's what I wonder. Because my mom is German, and so I spent a lot of time in Europe. It's like that's not how school is in other countries.
No.
But then we have to ask ourselves why. Like, why is this an American phenomenon that kids are being bullied routinely, ritually, and that schools are these hotbeds? What is it about it's our society. It's how people are. It's our philosophy. It's capitalism, I think.
Capitalism.
It's capitalism.
And social interaction.
Why would a 5-year-old be able to tell another 5-year-old, oh, your shoes, you must be poor because your shoes are not as good as my shoes. And they're already starting this whole thing that I got to look this way, talk this way.
Well, those are the values they're getting at home.
But it's also everything's hierarchical.
Right.
So it's not a sense of we as this entire unit and the idea of getting along with everyone, seeing yourself in everybody that you are interacting with. Yeah. It's a hierarchical. It's us against them, which is very capitalist. It's us against them, and it's also hierarchical. I see myself only insofar as there is a hierarchy. I am either better or worse than someone else.
Right.
Yeah. What's bizarre is how ingrained it is in us. I went to India last January for a wedding, right? And at one of the receptions for the wedding, the group of the bridal party, we were all American, her friends from college, and so there's all these tables for about 600 guests, and we, for this whole time, we're like, okay, this is our table, and let's put our stuff down. And okay, I'll put my jacket on this chair. There should always be someone who's guarding the table and be like, hey, don't sit here. This is our table, And we making this huge deal about the table, and the whole party, everyone was just kind of milling about, sitting down, getting up. All of the Indian people, nobody was like, this is our table. Yeah. It's like, these are just tables, and we're just people who are here.
Yeah. No, that's a good metaphor.
It was nuts to kind of, you don't really see our culture as something different until you have something to compare it to.
Right.
So we really are. We're kind of possessive. We're very us versus them. It's so real.
That's why they tell
true.
You, we don't want no socialism. Yeah. We don't want that. We don't want you to pay.
But that's also the rhetoric we've been fed about socialism from the get-go.
Right.
I mean, people don't really know what it is. They hear the name. It's all about, this whole anti-communist, which probably takes us to our next topic, which the fact that we are owned by the Russians. So, I mean, it's the biggest paradox ever, right? We are so anti-communist, and yet we are owned by the Russians.
Well, I would like to say about Russians is that they are the opposite of communist right now. They are an oligarchy.
That's right.
And the irony is they're pulling us to the right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
True.
But it's funny because I was going to take the conversation to Facebook, which we will get to soon. But
which is the same topic.
It's the many tentacles of the evil.
Yeah.
But no, I think you're hitting the nail on the head that it's an issue of semantics to a degree that communism and socialism is evil, and we're getting all buddy with Russia, where it is an oligarchy. There is definitely a upper class and a lower class, and we're falling right into that. But as long as people can believe that they are anti-communist and anti-socialism. See, we're protesting healthcare for the poors. That makes us better. But they're also, which is not a good thing, but in addition to that, they are embracing the worst things of this communist and socialist system that they seem to have created in their mind as their definition of communism.
Well, capitalism is not about humanity. I mean, you can't. If that was the case, then we would not have the homelessness that we have. People are not helping. We also are not fighting for the right of the individual, because that's the only way that we end up. Your Elon Musk or your Steve Jobs, the people who think differently. We're here. They want you to think in a group setting. That's where that stuff, and we were talking about with high schools and everything. We were speaking. They want you to think in a group. They want you to follow. If you,
but I think it goes beyond that, though. It's not just thinking in a group. It's thinking like the basically thinking in the group according to sort of the way the power structures want you to think.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, you look at gangs. People say, "Oh my God, gangs are a group," but you're a follower. As I say to kids at my job, I said, "Dude, did you ever think of yourself?" A light goes off. Because why? Because now you're thinking of you. You're thinking about the man in the mirror instead of what the group says that you should join.
Well, it's also critical thinking, being able to think critically, right?
And there's no one to show you to do that.
Because I don't think it's bad to be thinking in a group if you also have the ability to to decipher what is sort of. To be able to think critically about what is being thrown at you. I mean, we are a group, and I think on some level we should honor the fabric of society, but that doesn't mean...
to a degree. I think to the people on the right, the Trump supporters, like they want America to be a group. Some of the basic tenets of what they want is they want us to be a group and to get rid of the people we're trying to get in our group and to stand up for our group. They want us to stick up for manufacturing jobs in America. And I think middle America, especially, they don't feel like they're part of the group. In mainstream media, mainstream culture, pop culture is very New York and LA centric. Mm-hmm. And it's all about us and it's all about our values, and poo-poo the people in the middle, Larry the Cable Guy, they're all dumb. Fox News, blah, blah, blah. We shit on them a whole lot. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, we're part of the group too. Defend us. Put up some tariffs because we're all suffering. Can you fight for the opioid crisis? We're all suffering. We are a group as Americans.
Yes, but those are also people voting against their best interests. So that's the problem. Those are also people who are saying, I want coal to come back, as they cough up, black shit. You know what I mean?
There's some hypocrisy on our side, on the left.
No
because
doubt.
We're like, yeah, fuck coal. Let's go with solar. And we got our eyes on the future without seeing how it's affecting
true.
people.
However,
but
coal is
even
bad, and we should. And we do need to have our eyes on the future. And I think the problem with a lot of people who are Trumpers are that they are the people getting screwed the most, and they don't see it, and they're voting against their best interest. And yes, there is this whole elite thing. I totally agree with you.
But when you privatized everything, when you took away, like you were talking about the coal and everything, you had your plumbers, your electricians, and all these were jobs that when you got out of high school, you could become a nurse at 18 years old. These things were already in our fabric to do. We changed all that. We were for the we started take care of the stockholders. We didn't care about it, so we sent your jobs overseas because they turned us into
unions. The
unions,
death of unions.
Yeah, they got rid of the unions, and then we turned around and they turned us into consumers. So all we do is consume because
we don't make anything.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
That's right.
So we went from a 40% production country Now we're down to 10%.
Yeah.
Okay, then it's too expensive. No, we bought that crap, and they took everything, and so now that person in Middle America, yes, he's suffering because you voted for the idiot who said privatize it.